advise.
Oh, I see you did it.
Hence the reason
Yeah.
Would you nice?
public safety kicked
How
it
come
over
you
to
only got
planning
one
to
step?
advise back on interpretation.
We're gonna kick it to the library
Yeah,
board.
you got, that's a whole.
Sounds
that's
good.
two steps.
Just where it should be.
We'll put it off to the police and
Okay.
fire
I
commission.
think I need to know, what is this for?
Oh, wonderful. That's exactly
Well,
what
this
we're
is
going to
something
look
we have in there all the time. I don't
Okay,
know
so
if-
that can just.
I did, I wondered.
So where is the, where's the two of them for that? Oh, yeah.
You're taking extra time.
We'll
This
sign
is
it.
done. This is, here's the packet.
Here's the other packet. Go live at 5:59.
Automatically?
Oh, start.
How do you know, how,
Because
just as a timer?
it's 5:50, yeah, I set it up.
That's awesome.
I set it up, to start recording a minute ahead of
I
time.
didn't know that you could do that. That's cool.
It's kind of nice to get both of these, plus the terminal, and read it. So we're done.
Do you mind if I put that thing down?
The podium?
Yeah. I know it's probably not helpful for everybody that's getting.
Yeah, the tournament. But don't we have a third? Troop, that's what,
They're
that's,
doing that term, that's the one. that-
that's just the tournament. Right?
What is it?
I don't have that.
What?
Oh, the tournament.
Oh,
For implementing.
That's better, now we're
no,
trusting
I
each
don't
other.
know, I don't know who sets those up.
I got it.
Policy
You
for,
got it?
random
Okay, so we'll have to set up for that.
So is it like
Right.
one of the first emails?
Kelly, you set?
Yeah.
You guys ready? We will call this public hearing to order. We'll start out with a roll call. Trustee Hoddyshow,
Present.
trustee Clark.
Here.
Trustee Renner is an excused absence. Attorney Schober is on his way, he'll be here in about 4 or 5 minutes. President Lysick here. Clerk Kilmer.
Here.
Trustee Goodman.
Here.
Trustee Long.
Here.
Trustee Khan, excused absence. We will go on with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll move on to public comments, or public hearing portion of our.
I think traditionally the village president gave an overview of the budget first and then had comments, but
Okay, I don't recall doing that last year, but there are copies of the overview budget there on the table, I believe, from the clerk. And if you kind of look at it, 2019, 2020, 2021, we're all right in about the same range for the budget. We went down a little last year, we went up a little this year, we're still below 2019. Some highlights or changes that appear to be significant in the budget. Public Works went up a bit. We added a front end loader there in his budget. We also added a full-time employee. The employee came at a bargain of a price for the village and with a wealth of experience. Capital expenditures, we didn't budget a whole lot. We replenished some money back into the fund. The front end loader does not go under capital equipment because it's a leased loader and we don't own it yet. I don't know what else we have on here that's really striking. Planning and development went up a bit, but we plan on having some more activity up in the TID or by 164 and I-43. We've got some companies and customers that are interested in building up there, so we're going to have to incur some more costs to get that going. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much unchanged. I will turn it over to the public at this time, and we will do our best to answer any questions that need to be addressed. If you would like to speak, please sign in at the podium. There's clean pens in the box. Use a clean pen and then deposit it in a cup. We don't have to share pens. And for the record, please state.
Leah Pickow, West 228 South 8910 Jackson Parkway.
Thank you.
Okay, in clerk treasurer wages, we're almost up 16%. The village board wages are up. Public works wages are up almost 23% in public works, 54% in cemetery, and 3.7% in forestry. So all those, isn't public works taken care of by all those three areas? And why are there wage increases in all those areas? Why is the technology fee going up 275%? And I guess I was here last Wednesday, a week ago from yesterday, and asked for a capital expenditure budget and was told it wasn't ready yet. I asked for it to be emailed to me and I'm still waiting on that. So do we have a capital expenditure budget?
No, just what you saw, we have $32,000 into capital that we're just putting into our LGIP account.
So
for
there's
right now.
no capital expenditure budget on what you guys plan on doing next year for capital expenditures? There are no,
We don't plan on expending capital.
Correct, the
Next
money
year.
is going in there, so, for example, we've been putting money away for the fire bay heaters, things like that. So if they break, that would be something that we would be able to pull and pay out of that account.
okay.
But that was published like 3 years ago, and that's where we still have the slots for the money, but we didn't specifically say it's going to that. It's going to the LGIP account in the general, so that if it breaks, we can pay for it, and we don't have to take a loan out.
So what is the professional technologies fee increase?
We have county computers that advised me last year that they had told previous village boards that our computers and our servers needed upgrading, and there was no money budgeted for it until this coming year.
So wouldn't that be a capital expenditure instead of
No.
sticking it in the budget because,
So technology, semantics, it's not really capital because it's just computers. It's part of day-to-day operating equipment. The chief can tell you his computer in his office is all but dead.
I don't doubt that they're old, but there's a lot of things that are day-to-day operating equipment that,
But
I
I'm
think
gonna
we-
finish on the computer stuff.
I think we decided to put it in a line item because we knew we were spending it on that. We weren't gonna dump it into a general pot of capital because we knew we were expensing it out.
okay?
And we knew
because we
who was
don't
getting-
have-
Right, who was getting the money and when.
Right, so we put it where it belonged, so that way we can see, but next year you would see a drop in that then. Because we shouldn't have to purchase, again, we're out of memory or data is what we've
What
been
he's
told.
gonna do is replace the entire server because it's no longer supported the operating system and all of the hard drives are full to capacity. So that gets replaced, he's replacing the network hardware and he's refreshing all the 11 or 13 desktop units with new hard drives, upgraded memory, and just checking over all the software on it, make sure it's up to date.
So is this still gonna come before the board to be approved or denied, or, I missed that, I
The
guess,
quotation was already approved by the board. The board's gonna approve the money in the budget.
I guess I missed that where you talked about that at the board meeting. Can you tell me what board meeting that was that was approved at?
I can't off the top of my head.
Cause I don't ever remember that being
I
a
can look at the
discussion
vote,
item.
I don't remember.
Okay, the other thing is, the last, I was here in February and the loader was discussed, and it was put out there as, we're gonna lease it for this year because it's emergency and we need it, and then we're going to buy it. And I looked at the motion, and the motion was, whatever finance decides is prudent. Shouldn't that come back to the board to decide the specifics of what's happening? Because I don't see the money budgeted in here to purchase that loader. Are we purchasing the loader this year, or for 2021?
The plan was to continue to lease it, is what finance had discussed during the budget time.
The way we worked out the lease was they gave us a $1 buyout with the payments that we have right now over, I believe it was 5 years.
But that wasn't the discussion in February at the board level. This was all handled again at finance and never brought to the board level to be approved, as far as I'm understanding.
The board gave finance the directive to fund it.
So does the board know? Did you know that that's what what was happening?
Yeah.
Don't you think that you should put out there to the public that that's what's happening? When you discussed it at the board level, it was whatever finance decides. How is the public supposed to know what finance decided? And the other thing is the raises. This has been a horrible year for so many people. So many people have lost their jobs. So many people can't work. And for the village board to vote itself a raise and give out the other raises is, I think, such a poor precedent. It's been hard on so many people. A tax cut would have helped a lot of your constituents instead of giving raises.
Joe Kalanick, S73, W22446, John Drive, Big Bend. First, I want to start off by saying thank you for all your hard work on the budgets. I've been through them, they're not fun. And also thank you for holding the line on keeping our taxes in check. I do see, obviously, for those that have been working, obviously, you get raises. It's been a very difficult year for many, but, we're still going to work, especially here at the village. Looking through some of the stuff, like I said, for you to hold the line on the taxes, we're still below 2019. I couldn't be more happy. I also heard that we're going to be paying off one of our notes within the next couple of months, which is phenomenal. Keeping in mind that we are, by some of the past decisions, $5 million in the hole. By holding this at a line, not increasing my taxes or anyone else's, still giving the necessary raises, still funding departments the way that they should be, which I'm sure there's always areas too that can be looked at as far as restructuring, cutting back, saving the taxpayer a little bit more money, but obviously you guys have been doing a great job. So that's really all I have. Just keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate it. All right? And have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too. No pressure. Oh,
There's one
no.
in the
Oh,
box.
that's a dirty pen, don't touch it.
Too late now.
Now you need to sanitize.
I didn't repeat the instructions.
I wasn't here for that,
That's
sorry.
what I mean, I apologize.
Just don't touch your face or your mouth
Have you ever
and
thought
sanitize.
you would live to see hear that comment?
Here you go, we got sanitizer coming your way.
Thanks, chief.
No. Hey, I think Joe has some communicable disease afterward. Oh.
You never
You
know.
had a 50-50 shot, that might have been Leah's pen too.
That could have been.
There. Hands in the pen are clean.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I realize I only have a couple of minutes, so a couple quick questions in regards to the budget. As was mentioned before, you guys are paying off the current loan, in regards to what the current debt service is and stuff. What is the plan in regards to the village holding back some of that money, depositing that money into a savings account, and start looking forward to road projects in the future, things that need to get done in regards to that? If this village board doesn't start planning now in regards to looking at future road projects, which are gonna cost us a lot of money, and start planning out, we're gonna end up ourselves in the same situation the village was several years ago, having to take out $1 million loans to take care of road projects and things of that nature. It should behoove the board to at least start putting some of that money away in regards to whether or not we had an increase, it looks like, in our, this past year with our state transportation aids. I see there was a slight decrease in regards to that, but in regards to the monies that are coming off that $78,000, where did that end up getting shuffled around to? Because, I mean, the budget itself is pretty much flat in regards to the tax rate. So we had an increase in regards to assessed value to the village, and that is also an offset to residents as well. So I'm kind of wondering, where did the shuffle of the money end up going?
There was a added position to DPW, and we put money towards the front end loader.
My apologies, trustee clerk, how much was the total on the front end loader?
How much is it a month?
No, how much is the total cost of the front end loader?
It was roughly $177,000. That was with the plow as well. That came in more than $25,000 less than the equivalent truck. So we did bid out a truck and plow as well.
So we have put money away into capital, but capital was actually in the negative based on the audits that were done. But we now have money going into there that is not in the negative. We do have projects that are potentially, the things that we had put together when you were on
Correct.
board with, the fire rate heaters, things like that. So there's money there for that. Yes, we do need to start putting away money for the roads. Part of that is, we don't want to increase taxes. To Leah's point, there was a hardship this year for many people. But we also felt that, per contract, we were giving employees raises based on a contract that was decided prior to this happening. So to stay even with the board, that's, what we decided. But then we are paying off one promissory note. Our debt service on the big loan goes up this year and next year, but then after that it starts to decrease, where we should be able to put more money away for road projects without having to take out a loan. As long as we can keep
Right.
paying off of those, we'll then drop that other loan as well.
The bonds will really hit the teeth of the principal payments coming up over the next 3 years. It's,
I know.
And we also
Well-
got caught with the computer upgrades and then the record storage for the police department.
So that's basically where,
So the money this year is, the money that we have that we've got put into capital,
Correct.
essentially was, we have to upgrade our police system,
Mhm.
which Jeff just said, and as well as, that was the $275 or 275% increase to technology, was the village computers, that we don't have a choice because Don's been without a computer not working for a couple weeks here.
So, what are the new board rates then gonna be for the trustees coming April?
That'll be what's on the ordinance.
Back to the.
Whatever we originally were, 4,000 for president and 2,400. I believe it was 2,400 for a trustee. We just put them back to what they were originally, or we recommended putting them back. That hasn't been voted on yet.
And what we did there, Jamie, was when we started to try to make some cuts to get things balanced up a little bit here, so we didn't have to take out loans, we led the way as a board to reduce our wages. And so now we're just taking them back to the wages that you folks had when you were on the board.
Right.
So it's no,
No, but I mean, I'll say, trustee Goodman, that I was part of that voting in regards to, lowering the wages of the board. I was part of that.
so yeah, so we did, I thought we did a good job of leading the way. And now we're just returning.
So is there a capital, trustee Clark, is there a capital budget for next year?
Not,
There's not a capital budget. There's $32,950 that we are putting in the LGIP fund for capital expenditures should they be needed.
and that would be brought before the board to decide if it's like, essentially, do we need to replace the fire heaters? Do we need to, purchase something for something else that's broken or things like that?
Like the air conditioners last year.
Correct.
Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you. Are there any more public comments? I will ask again, are there any more public comments? Last chance. Any more public comments? If there are no more public comments, I will close out this public hearing. All right, we will close out the public hearing and move along to our village board meeting. We've already had roll call and pledge. Move along to item 2, discussion, consideration and possible action regarding the 2021 Village of Big Bend budget. I'd like to bring up one point of discussion about the budget. We have a overage on our budget, or a positive dollar amount of $5,680. And if you go to page 12 of your budget that was printed on 12/8 here, about the middle of the page, we have election wages, which was overlooked. And we're gonna need to put a number in there for election wages. Draw off that 5680. We have one guaranteed election, possibly 2, possibly 3, depending on if you have a primary or a recall. Previously, this past year, we spent $2,416 and we had 3 elections. So I would feel if we budget $2,000, we're probably $42,000. I don't know that we'll need it, but that should cover 3 elections if they're all relatively light. It's not like a presidential or a gubernatorial.
And what are you gonna do with the rest then?
The rest I would recommend putting into capital.
I would agree. Okay. What else do you need?
That's all I have. If anybody else has anything, or if you wanna,
Would any of the other election costs change?
So what happened is, the reason it got missed is, we took and we went through and we budgeted everything, and then we went back and we budgeted wages to make sure that we had everything budgeted for that we definitely needed, and it's put into the clerk treasurer line, so it was missed,
Okay.
unfortunately.
I
That's what
didn't,
happened.
yeah, I didn't know if it was just,
Right. So we did the budget a little differently, making sure that we could make ends meet to see if there was money available for the wage increase, knowing what we had to expense out.
I got you, okay.
So with that change, I would make a motion to pass the budget.
A second.
What I suggest is that the change either as a separate motion to amend, either amend the proposed budget with the changes you specified,
Okay.
then vote on the budget and, the
okay,
proposed is, proposed budget.
What is the additional money going into capital?
we're going to put $2,000 on election wages, and we're gonna put $3,600 into capital.
So I make a motion to, with the $5,680 overage, to put $2,000 to the election wages line, and then the remaining $3,680 into capital.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I make a motion to pass the budget with that change.
We can. We'll do a roll call vote on passing the budget.
I'll second.
Trustee Hoddeshaw?
Aye.
Trustee Clark?
Aye.
President Lysick, aye. Trustee Goodman?
Aye.
Trustee Long?
Aye.
Unanimous passage. Move along to item 2B, Resolution 2020-09, to adopt the 2021 Village of Big Bend budget. Resolution 2020-09, a resolution adopting the 2021 budget and authorizing the 2020 general property tax levy against all taxable property in the Village of Big Bend. Whereas the village board did hold on the 10th day of December 2020 a public hearing on the proposed budget for the Village of Big Bend for the calendar year 2021. And whereas the village board has reviewed the proposed revenues from all sources and the proposed expenditures for all purposes and has directed that the proposed budget be adjusted accordingly. Now therefore, at a meeting of the village board of the Village of Big Bend, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, held on the 10th day of December 2020, a quorum being present and a majority of the board voting therefore, said board did resolve as follows. Be it resolved by the village board of the Village of Big Bend, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, as follows. 1, that the 2021 annual budget, a summary of which is attached hereto and made a part hereof, be and is hereby approved. And 2, that there is hereby levied and assessed upon all the taxable property, real and personal, in the Village of Big Bend, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, for the current year 2021, $1,475,000. Fund details as follows. General fund, $2,062,207. Debt service fund, $413,020. 28. Once again, debt service fund, $413,028. Passed and adopted by the village board of the Village of Big Bend, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, on this 10th day of December 2020.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2020-09.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2B, Resolution 2020-10 to establish staff salaries. Resolution 2020-10, resolution establishing staff salaries for the 2021 budget year. Whereas the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Big Bend, Wisconsin deems it necessary to formally approve salaries for village department heads and staff. And whereas the Village Board of the Village of Big Bend has adopted the 2021 annual operating budget with included funding to cover 2021 staff salaries and wages. And whereas the village board has authorized these salary changes to be effective as of January 1st, 2021, and now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Big Bend Board of Trustees, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, hereby approves the following staff salaries for the 2021 budget year. I'll read off all of the staff positions and the staff salary accordingly. Village board increase effective as of 4/1/2020. That would be a 4/7, right?
7?
As of the election day.
Okay.
It says staff salary $20,000. That breaks down into $4,000 for village president, $2,400 per trustee. Village clerk treasurer, $57,750 annually. Village deputy clerk treasurer, $21 hourly. Department of Public Works superintendent, $56,779 annually. Department of Public Works full-time labor, $21 hourly. Department of Public Works laborer, $18.45 hourly. Fire Department fire chief, $14,076 annually. Fire Department assistant chief, $3,000 annually. Fire Department captain, $2,000 annually. Fire Department lieutenant, $1,000 annually. Police Department police chief, $89,166 annually. Police Department sergeant, $29.23 hourly. Police Department detective, $23.07 hourly. Police officer full-time second year, $26.04 hourly. Police officer full-time first year, $25.01 hourly. Police officer full-time 6 months, $24.14 hourly. Police officer full-time starting, $23 an hour. Police officer part-time, 6 months, $21.33 hourly. Police officer part-time starting $19.27 hourly. Police clerk, $24.38 hourly. Fire call, $17.50 per call. Fire training, $10 per training. Fire inspections, $15 per inspection. Court clerk, $24.38 hourly. Court judge, $3,600 annually. Court clerk bonus, 7% of total state debt collections collected in 2021 to be paid in 2022. This resolution is adopted by the Village of Big Bend on the 10th day of December 2020 to be effective on the same date.
Make a motion to pass resolution 2020-10 with the corrections made.
Did we make any corrections?
Yeah,
Or just
change the date.
The date.
yeah, those were corrections on that.
Oh. All right.
I second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2D, Resolution 2020-11 to establish a poll worker list. Resolution 2020-11, resolution establishing the list of poll workers for the 2021 budget year. Whereas the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Big Bend, Wisconsin deems it necessary to formally approve a list of poll workers, and whereas the Village Board of the Village of Big Bend has adopted the 2021 annual operating budget with included funding to cover said 2021 poll workers' salaries and wages. And now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Big Bend Board of Trustees, Waukesha County, Wisconsin hereby approves the following list of poll workers for the 2021 budget year. Chief Inspector Bertie Schmadel, Deputy Chief Inspector Carol Mangle, and the following are all poll workers: Roger Emery, Shirley Stadler, Lois Keller, Jeff Solden, Brenda Mertens, Sadie Sonnenberg, Melissa Thomas, Susan Kolensky, and Judith DeVoro. This resolution is adopted by the Village of Big Bend on the 10th day of December 2020 to be effective January 1st, 2021.
Make the resolution to approve the 2020-11 resolution.
Make the motion.
Yeah. What is it?
Resolution.
Motion.
I'll get it.
Yeah.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And with all of that being said, and Mr. Khan not being here, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did we have
Yeah, so that
to
really
carry
is-
over
should
last
pass.
December, and we haven't had any problem since, so,
Oh, you?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Stuff